Hello children, today I am here to teach you chapter 21. That's your last unit in second term work. That's time. So we'll look at what we need to learn in time. Look at the advertisement. So this is in your textbook. The next ODI between England and Sri Lanka begins at 2:30 p.m. England time at Lord's Cricket Ground and will be telecasted live. You will be able to watch this match from 8 p.m. onwards Sri Lankan time. So what it says, this is the same match. You can watch live this one. England time, this is 2:30 p.m. But Sri Lankan time is different. Sri Lankan time, that's 8 p.m. So this is 2:30 becomes 8. So when you take time in different countries, you get different values. So we'll see how we calculate those times and what is the standard way of giving the time. So I'll go through all concepts and basics using questions. The earth is a spherical object. So I have to show the globe to you. This is the globe. So it's spherical. What is the angle of the vertical axis of the globe with north direction? So can you see? It's not vertical. So it's slanted. So what's the angle? We know that it's 23.5-degree angle is there. What is the name given to upper part of the globe? So upper part of the globe, what you call that? North Pole. What is the name given to lower part of the globe? So this is lower part. That's called South Pole. What is the imaginary circle on the surface of the earth which separates the two hemispheres? So here, look at this one. So you get a line in the middle. So this globe divided into two parts. What you call this line? That's an imaginary circle. So we call that's the equator. So equator is the horizontal imaginary line. So we call it equator. What is the diameter of the equator? So when you take this circle, diameter means here to here. Diameter becomes the diameter of the globe. What is the center of the equator? So when you take this circle, so the center is the center of the globe. Same as center of the globe. So look at this one. So this is the equator. We call this is North Pole, South Pole, and center of the earth or center of the globe is here, and we call the upper part northern hemisphere and this part southern hemisphere. So how many parts of the globe divided by the equator? This part, upper part, and the lower part. So just two parts are there. What is the name of the upper hemisphere? That's northern hemisphere. What is the name of the lower hemisphere? We call southern hemisphere. What are the imaginary circles on the Earth's surface which are parallel to the equator in the North Pole? So you get lines here, horizontal lines. So what you call that? Those are imaginary circles on Earth's surface which are parallel to the equator in the North Pole. So you get horizontal lines parallel to the equator. So we call those are latitudes. But if this is in North Pole, that's northern latitudes. Latitudes. If equator is 0, so if this line is 0, which place is called northern latitude 90? So this is 0. 90 means here. North part, what's this? North Pole. What are the imaginary circles on the south surface of the Earth which are parallel to the equator? So these are southern latitudes. If equator is 0, which place is called southern latitude 90 degrees? So this way 90 degrees. So this is 0 and 90 degrees southern is the South Pole. Now clearly you can see the diagram. South Pole is here, North Pole is here. So these are the parallel lines to the equator. So we call northern latitude to north side, southern latitude in the south side. What is the imaginary line passes through city of Greenwich, England? So what you call that? When you take the globe, so you get here Sri Lanka is here and England is here. So here in the city Greenwich, there's a line passing through, that is 0 line. So that's the Greenwich line. So what is the imaginary line passes through the city of Greenwich, England? We say Greenwich Meridian line. What is the angle of longitudes along Greenwich Meridian? Now what are longitudes now? Longitudes is the vertical lines, imaginary lines. What is the angle of the longitude along Greenwich Meridian? When you look at the globe, you will see that's 0 degrees. What are the longitudes between 0 and plus 180? So when you take 0 line and plus means towards right side, towards east side. So what are the longitudes between 0 and plus 180 east of Greenwich Meridian? We call eastern longitudes. Eastern longitudes. And when we take the other way around, positive 0 with negative 180 towards west of Greenwich Meridian, we call western longitude. What is the intersecting point of eastern longitude 0 to 180 and western longitude plus 180? What you call that? That's the international date line. International date line. What is the abbreviation for international date line? We use the capital letters for IDL. So IDL, International Date Line. Now look at this diagram. So this is the globe, North Pole, South Pole, and equator is the horizontal one. So what is this one? 0 degrees. This is passing through 0 degrees, and this is a longitude. 0 longitude is the Greenwich line, Greenwich meridian line, and intersecting line of plus 180 and minus 180 we call that's the international date line. How we write longitudes? 28 degrees due east. So here with the direction we can write 28 degrees and we put capital E to represent east. How we write longitudes 108 due west? So west side we can use W for that. So 108 degrees W, capital W there. In which direction the globe rotates? So normally this way. What is this way means? West to east. When you stand towards northern pole, which direction is your right hand? So you have to, when you stand towards north, when you take the right hand side, that's the east side. So which direction is your right hand? That's east. What is the time taken for Earth to rotate 360 degrees? It takes 24 hours or 1 day. So we can write 24 hours or 1 day. Now we'll calculate this one. Now we know time to rotate 360 degrees, it takes 1 day. In hours, 24 hours. In minutes, how you convert to minutes? You multiply by 60. 24 times 60 minutes. And if it's 1 degree, so this is for 360, how we find for 1 degree? You have to divide this by 360. 0, 0, 6 times 6. 24 divided by 6, you get 4 minutes. So 1 degree, for 1 degree to rotate, it takes 4 minutes. From the above information, what is the time to rotate 1 degree of longitude? That's 4 minutes. What is the time to rotate 15 degree of longitudes? 1 degree, 4 minutes. For 15, 4 times 15. So what's the answer? 60 minutes, or you can write 60 minutes means 1 hour. So 15 degree angle to rotate, it takes 1 hour. What is the name we use when Earth is rotating within 1 hour or 15 degrees of longitudes? So what is the name? We call that's time zone. Time zone. So 1 hour rotation of 15-degree longitudes called time zones. And how many time zones are there? So 24 hours to rotate. So 1 day, that means 1 day to rotate 360 degrees. So 15 degrees, that's 1 hour. So there are 24 hours. So there are 24 time zones are there. As Earth is rotating west to east, what is the time added when Earth is rotated 15 degrees due east longitude? So this way, so it takes, you have to add 1 hour to the value because 15 degrees means it takes 1 hour. So add 1 hour to that. What is the time subtracted when Earth is rotated 15 degrees due west? To west, we have to subtract 1 hour. What is the name of the time at any location in the world measured? So we call Greenwich time. Green time. Greenwich meridian time. How we write that time using English letters? G, Greenwich, meridian, M and T, time, GMT. Look at this diagram. When you take the globe, so when you cut it, you get the equator, that's the horizontal line, and you get time zones. Now 0 line is here. That's the Greenwich meridian line. And here towards right side, that's positive. 7.5, 15, 30 like that. So each, so here to here, that's 1 time zone. 15-degree angle, that's 1 time zone. So this is another time zone. Here another time zone. These are time zones. You get 24 time zones. And here to the right side to 0 line, that's eastern longitudes. And to the west side, we call western longitudes. And these are minus. So this is west and this is east. And these are the longitudes and these are parallel lines. The region between 7.5 west and 7.5 east is named as the 0 time zone. So here plus 7.5 and minus 7.5, this means time zone 0. If you take positive 7.5 east and 22.5 east, that's time zone 1. So where's time zone 1? 7.5 and 22.5, that's time zone 1. The region between 22.5 east to 37.5 east, name as plus 2. So that means towards the east side, you get plus time zones. So you are adding the time. So towards west side, you get negative values. So here, according to this one, all the countries in the eastern side, time should be added and it is denoted by plus sign. And we'll take the next one. Now the other way around. The region between 7.5 west to 22.5 west is labeled as minus 1 time zone. And here the other one, 22.5 west to 37.5 west is named as minus 2 time zone. So for countries in the western side, time should be subtracted and it is denoted by minus. So we'll look at the diagram. That means towards this side. This is -1 and this time zone is -2. That's in between -22.5 and -37.5. Or we can write using W to the west. So that's how the time zones, starting from here to the east side, we add the time. And to the west side, we subtract the times. How we write the time for large which falls into several time zones, like India, that's a big country. So then we take the city name as well. Chennai time, and in Australia, Melbourne, Sydney time. So when you get large countries, we have to consider the city. So we take the name of the city. Sri Lanka is situated longitudes 80 degrees east. It's good to know this, 80 degrees east. What is the time should be added compared to GMT, Greenwich Meridian Time? So that's 0. Time needs to add now 80 degrees. We know 1 degree means 4 minutes. We found that 1 degree, it takes 4 minutes to rotate. So what about 80 degrees? So you need to multiply 4 times 80. So what's that? 320 minutes. Convert to hours, divide by 60. 320 divided by 60, you get 5. That's 320 remaining. So you can write 5 hours and 20 minutes. Since India, the largest country situated close to Sri Lanka, belongs to the same 5.5. So here this is 5 hours 20 minutes, but we take as 5 hours and 30 minutes. Half means 30 minutes. So here we take this time same as India. So our value is always plus 5.5 time zone. So remember that when you take Sri Lanka, we take plus 5.5 time zone. Take this question. So Greenwich Meridian time is given and this is Sri Lankan time. So 0 means Saturday 5:30 in Sri Lanka. So if this is 1, what's the time in Sri Lanka? So this is 1 means you have to add 1 hour. So what's the time? 6:30. This is 9. So you have to add 8 to that. 8 plus 6, 14. So 14:30. This is 17. 17 means you have to add 8. 8 to this one. 8 plus 14, 22, and this is 30 there. 14 plus 8, 22. Now compare these two. This is 17 and 18, 30. So 1:30 difference. 1 hour, 30 minutes. So add 1 hour, 30 minutes. 22 plus 1, 23. And when you add 30 and 30, you get 24. So this is still Saturday. Now what happens if this is 1930? You have to add 1 hour more. 1 hour more. This is 24 plus 1, 25. We don't write as 25. So that's next day morning, 1 a.m. So look at this one. This is still Saturday in England, Greenwich Meridian time. But in Sri Lanka, it's Sunday morning. And if this is 2030, so add 1 hour again. So 2 o'clock in the morning. That's Sunday. Then this means 24. 00 means 24. That means we have to add 4, 3.5 to that. 2030 and 3:30. What's the time? You get 1 hour. Here 23 and 60 means 24. So 3:30. So add 3:30 to this one. 5:30 here. So can you see the difference? So 5.5 difference with the Sri Lankan time. So this is Saturday and these are Sunday values. And Sunday in Sri Lanka comes 5.5 hours before England. So here this is GMT. GMT time 0 represent 5:30 in the morning in Sri Lanka. Look at this one. Here are times given for different countries compared to Greenwich time. So this is England. So time zone 1. So the time is 12. So 12 noon. Lebanon plus 2. Add 2 to that. So this becomes 14. 3. So 2 plus 1 is 3. So add 1 to that. 15. Plus 5. Here you can, if you are comparing with 0, adding 5 to that. So 12 plus 5, 17. 5.5, that means adding 30 minutes. So 17 and 30. Sri Lanka and India time both are the same, 17:30. Vietnam plus 7. So we can take here to here. 5 to 7, that's adding 2. 17 plus 2, 19. Here to here, adding 1. 1 hour. 19 plus 1, 20. 10 here. So that means 2 more here from here. So 20 plus 2, 22 hours in Australia. And here this is 1 less than that, plus 9. That's Japan. 21 hours. And this is plus 8. Another minus 1. So 20 for Malaysia. Now look at these two. Philippines and Malaysia, same time. And when you look at all these pluses, so these are the countries to the east side, all positive. Look at this table, country and the city given, time zone and time. So Greenwich time is 12, that's 12 noon and time zone 0. Tobago. So minus. Now these countries towards the west side. So what's the time? So minus 4. You have to subtract 4. 12 minus 4, 8. 8 in the morning. Minus 8. From here, minus 8. 12 minus 8, that's 4. 4 a.m. Chilly, that's minus 5. So minus 4 to minus 5, that means 1 subtracted. 8 minus 1, that's 7. Greenland, that's minus 3. So from here, subtract 3. 12 minus 3, 9. 9 a.m. America, minus 6. 1 hour less than that. So minus 5 minus 6. So 1 hour less. So that's 6 a.m. And Germany, plus 1. That country to the east side. That's plus. So 0 is there. Plus 1. Adding 1 to 12. That's 13. So that's 1 o'clock in the evening, or 13 p.m. 1 p.m. International dateline, intersecting of 180 to the west and 180 to east of longitudes, we call international dateline. We discussed that before. International dateline, and time is calculated depending on that line. Look at this one. So it's given Greenwich time is 0. So this time is 0. That's midnight. 24, you can write 24 hours. Write down the time for the following cities. Oslo. Where's Oslo? Plus 1 time zone. So that means adding 1 to that. So 24 plus 1, 25, or 0 plus 1. So what's the time? 1 o'clock in the morning. Cairo. Cairo is plus 2. So that means to this value you have to add 2 hours. So this is 2 in the morning. Dubai. Dubai is plus 3. So add 3 to that. So 3 in the morning. Antigua. Antigua is towards this side, negative 4. That means you have to subtract 4 hours from 24. 24 minus 4, 20. That's in the evening, p.m., 8 p.m. Toronto, subtract 5 from that. 24 minus 5. You get 19 is the answer. So 19 means 7 p.m. Chicago. Chicago is minus 6. So 24 minus 6, you get 18. So 6 o'clock in the evening. 6 p.m. Look at this chart. Now the time is different. Greenwich time is 12 noon. 12 noon here. Write down the time for the following cities. Oslo, 1 hour, positive side. You have to add 1. So 1 o'clock. So here, this is noon. So 1 o'clock, you can't write like this. 1 p.m. So you have to add 12 to that. So you can write 13 is the time, because this is p.m. Noon here, when you add 1 to that, this is PM, 1 PM. Cairo, adding 2 to that. So Oslo is +1, adding 1 to that, that's 14, 2 PM. Dubai, adding 1 hour more, 15, that's 3 PM. Antigua is -4. 12 minus 4, you get 8 in the morning. Toronto, -5, subtract 5, you get 7 in the morning. And Chicago is -6, another 1, you have to subtract, that's 6 in the morning. Look at this one. Cairo time is 10. Now this is slightly different to the previous one. Cairo time is 10. Cairo is here. This is 10 now. This is in the morning. 10 in the morning. 10 a.m. Dubai, find the time. Where's Dubai? Dubai is +3. Now look at this one. This is 10. Another 1 hour more than this. So this becomes 11. Oslo, 1 less than this side. So +2 becomes +1. Subtract 1 hour. That's 9 in the morning. Greenwich, another 1 hour less because it's in the left side. So another 1 hour less, that's 8 in the morning. Antigua, to this value, that's 4 more less. So 8 in the morning minus 4, you get 4 in the morning. Toronto, another 1 hour less than Antigua. So 1 hour less than that, that's 3. And Chicago, when you compare with Toronto, another 1 hour less. That becomes 2. Find the time at Australia, Sydney city, when time is in Sri Lanka is 10:30 p.m. on 2017 11/12. So this is the date and time given. Time needs to be added. Now you are asked to find out the time in Australia, Sydney. So what's the difference? This is 5.5 time given. This is 10. So you need to subtract and find out the time needs to be added. So 10 minus 5.5. 10 minus 5, 4. Another subtraction of half, you get 4.5. Standard time in Sri Lanka now 10:30 p.m. You can't write like this. So add 12 to that. p.m. you can't write. So you have to add 12. What's the time? You get 30 and 2 and 2. 22:30 is the time. Time in Sydney. Now you have to add 4.5 to that. 4:30 because Sydney is towards east side. So you have to add the time. So time in Sydney 22:30 plus 4:30. So what's the time? When you add it 30:30, 1 hour, 26, 27. Can you write 27? 27 means Subtract 24 from that, you get 3. 3 in the morning. So you get 3 in the morning. So 3 a.m. is the time in Sydney. What's the date? Now, this is night time, 2017, November 12th. So this is next day in the morning. So what's the date in Sydney? 2017, 11, November 13th. Complete the table. Time zone given. Plus 3 is 9 in the morning. Plus 4, adding 1. That's 10. Plus 5, you are adding 1 more. Plus 6, adding 1 more. That's 12. Noon. Plus 10 now. Add another 4 to this. 6 and 10 difference is 4. When you add 4 to that, you get 16. That's 4 p.m. Then another 2 hours adding, you get 18. That's 6 p.m. Look at this one, time zone, negative. Negative 2 is given. So negative 3 means you subtract 1 hour. 20 minus 1, 19. 7 p.m. Another 1 subtracted, you get 6 p.m. here. Minus 5 means subtract another 1, 17 p.m. Here to here, subtract 3 more, 5 to 8. So subtract 3, you get 14. Again, from here to here, subtract 2 more. 14 minus 2, you get 12. That's 12 noon. Complete this table. So time zone given in Bangkok. That's plus 7. And time is 2 p.m. 14 means 2 p.m. Auckland, that's plus 12. So what's the difference here? You are adding 5. 14 plus 5, 19. That's 7 p.m. Athens, plus 2. So here 7 and 2, the difference is 5. So that means you have to subtract. 2 is this way. So subtract 5 from 14. So what's the value? 9. 9 in the morning. This one, you have given time zone for Sooth. So Chicago is minus 6. So what's the time? So here to here, subtract another 3 hours. 1 in the morning. So 1 in the morning, subtract 3. So we'll take this one as 25. 24 plus 25. So if you take 25, this one, subtract 3 from that, you get 22. So this one, what's the difference here? Minus 3 and 7. The difference is 10. 7 minus minus 3. So you get 10. So you need to add 10 hours to this one. So 1 plus 10, that's 11. Now we'll look at the date. So this is next day. So January 10th. So this one is the previous day. So that becomes January 9th. What about this one? So this is 11 a.m. still in January 10th. Look at this one. Greenwich time given, that's 23 hours, and Monday. Plus 4 Abu Dhabi, adding 4 to that. Adding 4 to this one, 23 plus 4, 27. You can't write 27. So what's the time? Subtract 24 from that. You get 3. 3 in the morning. So here this is 23 means Monday, previous day. So this is Tuesday. Now look at this one. This one is minus 8. So you have to subtract 8 hours from this. 23 minus 8. What's the value? 15 there. So this is 15 hours. That means 3 p.m. But still, it's Monday. Look at this question. Cricket tournament is started at 10:30 a.m. in Melbourne City in Australia between Sri Lanka. If Australia plus 10 and Sri Lanka is plus 5.5, find that time in Sri Lanka. Okay, so that means if you take the Sri Lankan time, that's plus 5.5. Australia Melbourne is plus 10. So what's the difference? Time need to be subtract 10 minus 5.5. So this time is given. The tournament started 10:30 a.m. in Melbourne. So this is 10:30. So this way, to the west side, you have to subtract the time. So what's the time you need to subtract? 10 minus 5.5. 10 minus 5.5 means 4.5. So time in Sri Lanka, so subtract 4:30 from 10:30. So 10:30, that's in the morning. Subtract 4:30 from that. You get 6 in the morning. So this is 6 in the morning. So same day, 6 in the morning. Look at this one. Sri Lanka is in plus 5.5 time zone and London is 0 time zone. Flight started at 16:30 at Sri Lanka time and it takes 11 hours to travel to London. So the question asks, what's the time showed in Rasika's watch? What is the time arrival in London? So departure time, duration time of Rasika's watch, and we'll find out what's the time in London. So how we do that? So first consider the time zone. 0 is the 01. 0 is the London time. Sri Lanka plus 5.5. So in Sri Lanka, the flight started 16:30 at Sri Lanka's time. And it takes 11 hours to travel to London. What is the time showed in Rasika's watch? So what's the time difference? Now what's the departure time? Departure time is 16:30. So departure time is 16:30. That means 4:30 p.m. That's Sri Lankan's time. Duration time of Rasika's watch. Now duration is 11 hours. So you have to add 11 to that. So 16:30, add 11 hours. What's the duration is 11. So what's the time in Rasika's watch? 27:30. So you can't write 27:30. You have to subtract 24. That means 3:30 in the morning. So you get 3:30. So the duration time of Rasika's watch now 3:30. So the time is in Rasika's watch is 3:30. Now how you find out the time difference? Now 3:30, you have to subtract 11 hours. So 3:30, how can we write? You can write 3:30 as 27:30, 27:30, subtract 11 hours. So time difference is 5.5. So you have to subtract 5.5 from this. 5.5 means 5:30. So you get 22 is the time. So the 22 means evening time. So that's the time in London. This is the map. Look at the map here. This is the Greenwich timeline. And here, this is plus 180 and minus 180 when you connect. So meets at IDL mean International Date Line. And here look at these +1, +2, 3 towards east side. So Sri Lanka in the eastern side. And this is 0, that's 12. Then to this side we are adding 1 hour positive here. To this side we subtract 1 hour. So when you take Australia, Australia is towards right hand side. So remember roughly the countries. So Sri Lanka is here and Greenwich line is towards west side. Now we'll look at the examples in your textbook. Example number 1. Find the time in Sri Lanka when Greenwich time is 3:24 p.m. on Monday. So we can do in 2 methods. What's the first method? So we can write what's the time difference. Sri Lanka, we know that's plus 5.5. Greenwich, that's 0. So what's the time difference? So time difference is 5.5 less because towards left side. So you can write down this is Greenwich time is that. So Sri Lankan time should be plus 5.5. So time difference is 5.5 minus 0, that's plus 5.5. And what's the time in Sri Lanka? Time in Sri Lanka is, you need to add 5:30 to 3:24 p.m. p.m. How can we write 3:24? You have to add 12 to that. So you get 15:24 is the time. And add 5:30 to that. What's the time? Here 4, 3 plus 2, 5, 5 and 5, 20, 5 and 5, 10, and 1 remaining, 20:54. So that's the evening time, 20:54. Now we'll do the same thing in a different way. When you draw the line, we know Sri Lanka towards east side. And this is 15:25. So the difference is plus 5.5. So add 5.5. So 15:24 is the standard time and add 5:30 to that. So when you draw the diagram, it's easy to calculate the value. So 20, 54. So this is 54 is the time. So this is just to see the time with different countries. So Greenwich time. So this is 0, 12. And compare these two, 0 with plus 10. So that means adding 10 to that. 12 plus 10, 22. When you take 6 here, 6 plus 3. So 3 hours difference. 18 becomes 18 plus 3, 21. 7 and 1. So subtract 6 from this one. So subtract 6. So you get 13. So likewise, you need to know, if you know one time, how you convert to the other times. Example number 2. Find the time in Trinidad, West Indies, when Greenwich time is 3:24 p.m. on Monday. So this is p.m. p.m. means you have to find out the standard time. So 3:24 plus 12. 15:24. So what's the time difference? It says West Indies and Greenwich. What's the time zone in West Indies? West Indies is -4. So West Indies is -4. So you need to know that this is -4 and Greenwich is 0. So what's the time difference? -4 minus 0. So that's minus. So you have to subtract 4 hours from this. So what's the time in Trinidad, West Indies? So Greenwich time is 3:24. So you have to subtract 4 hours. So time in West Indies 15:24 minus 4 hours. So what's the value? 24 there. 5 minus 4, 1. So you get 11:24. That's AM. So this is AM. And what's the day? They're asking, what's the day? This is Monday. Greenwich time is given on Monday. Monday 3:24 means PM. 3:24 PM. 4 hours before same day. So this is also Monday 11:24 hours. Now what's the other method? When you draw the line 0, Greenwich time is this, that's 15:24. Minus 4 means you just subtract 4 there. So this method is really easier than the other method. When you have the diagram, you can easily subtract and get the value. So this is 3 p.m., 3:24 p.m. 4 hours before is the same day. So Monday. This is Monday, same day. Example number 3. Calculate the time in Chile when the time in Sri Lanka is 1:15 a.m. on 2017, 8:15. So that's 1:15 a.m. So what's the standard time? This is 1:15 a.m. That's the standard time. So how we do that? So what's the time zone in Chile? That's -5. So what's the difference between -5 and 5.5? Sri Lankan time is 5.5 plus 5.5. So time difference first you have to calculate. So this is towards left side, west side. That means we have to subtract the time. So minus 5 minus 5.5, you get minus 10.5. So you have to subtract 10.5 hours. So how you do that? What's the standard time? 1:15. So time in Chile, 1:15 minus 10:30, 10.5. So can we subtract? So we can write 1:15 in standard form. So we'll add 24 to that. 24 plus 1:15, you get 25:15. Now we can subtract 10:30 from that. So here you need 60 from that. 75 minus 30. So you can't subtract 30 from 15. Take 60. 75 minus 30. You get 45. 24 minus 10, 14. So that's 14:45. So 14:45 means 2:45 p.m. So this one is 2:45 p.m. So what's the date? Earlier one was this one, 8:15, August 15th. That's in Sri Lanka. So this becomes the previous day. So the date becomes 2017, 8, that means August 14th. Now when you do using the diagram, it's easy. Greenwich is 0. 5.5 is Sri Lanka and Chile is minus 5. So this is 5.5, another minus 5, another 5 hours, altogether 10.5 here to here. So minus 10.5. So this time is 1:15. So you can convert this to adding 24, 25, 15. Same thing, subtract 10:30, you get 14:45. And this is the previous day. So this is Sri Lankan date and this becomes the Chile's date. Example number 4. Calculate the time in Sydney when the time in Sri Lanka is 9:15 p.m. and this is August 15th. The time in Sri Lanka in standard form, you have to add 9:15 p.m. means add 12 to that, you get 21:15. That's the time in standard form. So what's the Sydney time zone? Plus 10. So what you do? Plus 10 Sydney and 5.5 in Sri Lanka. So this is plus 5.5. What's the time difference? Time difference is 10 minus 5.5. So you get 4.5 hours difference. Now you can subtract. Is it adding or subtract? Sydney is towards east side. So you have to add the time. So time in Sydney is, you have to add 4.5 to that. 4:30. So add it. 30 plus 15, 45. And 4 plus 1, 5 and 25. So can we write like this? 25:45 means subtract 24 from that. That means 1:45 in the morning. So 1:45 is the time. 01:45 in the morning. So what's the date? This is next day because Sri Lankan date is August 15th. This is next day morning. So the date is 2017 8/16. So when you draw the diagram, it's really easy. Greenwich is 0. Sri Lanka is 5.5. Sydney is 10. So difference is 4.5. So you have to add 4.5 to that. So 21:15 is in the standard time. So you add 4.5 to that. So you get 1:45. That's next day 1:45 hours. So this is just a note. In your textbook, USA, Australia and countries in Europe receive sunlight for more than 12 hours a day during the summer period. During these times, because the sun rises early in these countries, daytime is increased by advancing the clock forward by an hour. This time period, daylight saving time, so that's called DST, is applicable to countries in the northern hemisphere from mid-March to early November, and to countries in the southern hemisphere. So Sri Lanka is near the equator from early October to early April. During these periods, the clock is turned forward 1 hour, so 1 hour should be added to the usual time. In Sri Lanka also, previously, we had a small time gap, half an hour time gap. So now, it is again adjusted to the previous time. So mostly it depends on the leaders. Those who are coming, they change the time. So in Sri Lanka also previously we had a time difference half an hour. So remember what is daylight saving time. Exercise 21.1. Complete the table given below stating the time in each time zone when the time in the 0 time zone is 12 noon. So this is 12. So this is plus side to the east. So you need to add 1. 12, this is noon, plus 1, you get 13. That's 1 p.m. This is 2 p.m., 14, 15. So you have to add 1 to that. 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20, 21. Now look at this one. Plus 2, 9 to 11. So you get 23 now. And then another one more, 24. 24 means midnight, 0, 0, 0 time. Now when you take the negative side, starting from 0, this is 12 noon, you subtract 1, 11 a.m., 10 a.m., 9 a.m., 8 a.m., 7 a.m. So subtract 1, 6 a.m., 5 a.m., another one, 4 a.m., and here 3 a.m., 2 a.m., another one more, 1 a.m., and then subtract 1 more, you get 0 means 24 hours. That's midnight. Look at this one. Write the time and the date in each time zone when Greenwich time is 18. On Friday, 2016, August 19th. So this is 0. We'll do the plus side, adding 4. 18 plus 4, 22. That's same day. So Friday, same day. So I'll put 8, 19. Plus 7. Add 3 to that. So 25. Can you write 25? No, subtract 24 from that. You get 1 in the morning. So 0, 1 in the morning. Now this is next day. So Friday becomes Saturday. What's the day? That becomes 8/20. August 20th now. Plus 10 means adding 3 hours more. 1 plus 3, you get 4. 4 in the morning, but same day. Saturday, 8/20. Plus 1 more, that's 5 in the morning. That's Saturday, 8/20. Now, minus 1, so you have to subtract the time. 18 minus 3, 15. But same day, Friday, 8/19. Another 3 you have to subtract. 15 minus 3, you get 12. 12 noon. That's also Friday, same day. 8/19. Subtract another 5 hours. 6 and 5, 11. Another 5 hours. 12 minus 5. 7 in the morning. But still Friday. 8/19. Question number 3. When the time in Bangkok in the +7 time zone is 16 hours. Find the time in Auckland, New Zealand in the +12 time zone. We draw a diagram. +7 is Bangkok. And you need, that's 16 hours. You need New Zealand time, that's +12. +12. That's New Zealand. So what's the time there? So this is difference. Time difference is +5. Adding 5 to that. So 16 plus 5. 5 hours you have to add. What's the time? 21 hours. Then second one. And also what's the, so only the time they need. So second one, the time in Athens, Greece in the +2 time zone. +2 is here. So that means what's the time difference here? You have to subtract 5. So 16 minus 5. What's the value? 11. So 11 in the morning. That's in Athens. Third one, Trinidad in the -4 time zone. -4 is here. So what's the time difference now? Here to here. This is for 0. 0 is somewhere here. This is 7 hours. Bangkok to Greenwich, 7 hours. Another 4. Altogether 11 hours. So you have to subtract 11 hours from this. So 16 minus 11. You get 5. 5 in the morning. Question number 4. When the time in Nuuk, Greenland in the -3 time zone is 1, means in the morning. On 2016, 10, October 20th. So we'll draw the line. That's in -3, Greenland. Greenland, that's -3. What's the time? 1 in the morning. Date is 2016, 10 and 20. October 20th. So find the time and the date in Chicago in the -6 time zone. So -6 is towards west side. So subtract 3 hours. So 1 in the morning, how can we write? At 24, that's 25. So 25 minus 3. So the first value is 25 minus 3. You get 22. That's the time in Chicago. What's the date? So this is 1 in the morning. So this becomes the previous day night, 22 hours. So what's the date there? So previous day becomes 19th October. So 2016, 10 and 19th. That's in Chicago. So second part, the time and date in Bangkok. Bangkok is +7. So Greenwich is somewhere here. So what's the difference? This is 3 and another 7, altogether 10 hours. So you have to add 10 hours to 1 in the morning. So 1 plus 10 hours. You get 11 in the morning. So 11 in the morning, same day as Greenland. So that's 2016, 10 and 20. Question number 5. When the time in Vancouver, Canada, in the -8 time zone is 18 on 2016, October 29. So what's that? Canada -8. And what's the time? 18. And date? 2016, 10/29. The time and date in Greenwich. Greenwich means 0. And the other one, the time and date in Abu Dhabi, that's +4. Okay, so first part, what's the time difference here? -8 to 0. Add 8 hours. Add 8 hours to 18. 18 plus 8 hours. You get 26. You can't write like this. Subtract 24 from that. You get 2 in the morning. So 2 hours in the morning. So this is subtracted. No, this is added. So that means next day. So if this is 10/29, next day is 2016, 10/30. And part 2. Now the time and date in Abu Dhabi. Another 4 hours or all together now here to here. We can do here to here from the previous part or starting from here. We'll do from this point. So 2016, October 30th at 2 in the morning. So 2 plus 4, add 4 hours to that. You get 6 in the morning. So 6 in the morning, 6 hours. So same day as Greenwich. So what's the day? 2016, 10/30. Question number 6. When the time in Philippines in the +8 time zone, +8 Philippines, That's 19 hours. What's the date? 2016, 11/2. The time and date in a country in the +12 time zone. So +12 is somewhere there. So what's the difference? 4 hours. So add 4 hours to 19. 19 plus 4. What's the time? 23 hours. So what's the date? Still the same day. So 2016, 11/2. And second part, the time and date in a country in the -12 zone. That means this way. So -12 means, what's the difference? 0, Greenwich is somewhere there. So here to here, 8 and another 12. So what is the Greenwich time? Subtract 8. When you subtract 8, we'll do step by step. Greenwich time becomes 19 minus 8. 11 in the morning. Then subtract another 12. So can we subtract another 12? When you subtract 12 from this, it becomes the previous day. So I can write 11 in other way around. So add 24 to that, because we can't subtract 12 from 11. So I can write this one as 35 hours. Now subtract 12 from that. 23. So what's the time here? When this is -12 time zone, the time is 23 hours. This is previous day. Now this is 2016. Greenwich is 11 a.m. and same day. This one is the previous day. So 2016, 11 and 1st of November. Third part, the time and the date in Honolulu, located in the -10 time zone. -10 is here. So that means 2 hours adding to the previous time. So we'll add 2 hours to this one. 23 plus 2. You get 25. 25 means 1 in the morning. So 1 in the morning. When you subtract 24 from that, 1 in the morning. What's the day? So same day. So that's the same day as 2016, 11/2. Question number 7. When the time in Sri Lanka is 9:30, that's +5.5 in Sri Lanka. 9:30 in the morning, 2017, 5/2. What's the time and date in Los Angeles, located in -8? -8 in USA. What's the time difference? So 0 is somewhere here. So what's the total time? This is 5:30 and another 8. Altogether, time difference is, we are adding. Here 5.5 and 8. What's the value? 5 and 5.5 and 8. Altogether you have to add 13 and a half hours. But this is towards negative side, the west side. You have to subtract 13 and a half hours from 9:30. So 9:30, how can we write in standard form? This is 9:30. We'll add 24 to that, because you can't subtract 13 and a half from 9:30. So when you add it, 33:30, now you can subtract 13 and a half means 13:30. You get 20 hours. So what's the time here? In USA, 20 hours. And what's the day? This is 9:30 in the morning, May 2nd. But this one is the previous night. Previous night means the previous day is, so 13 and a half hours. The previous day, 20 means, what's the date? 2017, 5 and 1. So that means May 1st. Question number 8. An aeroplane takes off from Dubai, located in the +4 time zone. +4 Dubai at 13 hours. It arrives in Manila in Philippines, located in the +8. +8 time zone at 20. That's Manila. Find the time in Manila when the aeroplane departs from Dubai. So this is 13. So what's the time difference? +4. So you have to add 4 hours. So 13 is the departing time. So add 4 hours. 13 plus 4, you get 17 hours. That's in Manila. Second, find the time duration of the flight. So time duration. Now see the time difference here. Philippines located in the +8 time zone at 20. So this is the time of the arriving time in Manila. So that's 28 p.m. So how you find out the duration of the flight? So what's the duration? So this is 17 here. That's Manila time, 17 to 20. So what's the difference? Only 3 hours flight. So 3 hours flight. Then part 3. What is the time in Dubai when the aeroplane arrives in Manila? Now here 20, and we found out this is 20, but 4 hours more than that. So 13 plus 4. 13 plus 3 hours. The flight duration is 3 hours. Departure time from Dubai is 13. So add 3 hours to that. You get 16 hours. That's the time in Manila. What is the time in Dubai? That's the time in Dubai when the aeroplane arrives in Manila. Miscellaneous exercise. Sri Lanka is located in the +5.5 time zone. Dileepa, who departs from the Katunayaka airport at 14:30. So it's easy to draw a diagram. +5.5. The time is 14:30. That's Sri Lankan time. Travels to Trinidad in West Indies through London. So London means 0. Then Trinidad. We have to read the question. He arrives in London after a journey of 6 hours. So 6 hours for the flight time. 6 hours. What is the time shown on his wristwatch, which indicates Sri Lankan time? So Sri Lankan time earlier, the departing time is 14:30. Subtract 6. Subtract 6. What's the time? 14:30. So that's the first part. So we need to add. The flight time is 6 hours. The departing time is 14:30. So what's the time now? 14:30 plus 6 hours. You get 30 here, 20:30. So that's the time that shows in the wristwatch. Then 2. If London is located in the 0 time zone, what is the time in London when the flight reaches there? Now Sri Lankan time is 20:30 there, but this is 5.5 time difference. So you need to subtract 5.5 from here. So 20:30, that's the Sri Lankan time, minus 5.5 means 5:30. 0, and you get 15 hours. That's 3 p.m. That's London time. Third part. After adjusting the time on his wristwatch according to the time in London, that's 15 hours, Dileepa departs for West Indies by another flight. Now, from here, that's the time now is 15. Now, West Indies by another flight, if he spends 1 hour at the London airport prior to departure. So 1 hour, so that means 16. 15 plus 1, 16 hours at the London airport prior to departure, and it takes 3 hours for the journey. What is the time in West Indies? In the -4 range. West Indies is in -4 time zone when he reaches there. So 3 hours is the flight time. So 16 is the departing time. So what's the time in Greenwich? In London, 16 plus 3. That's 19 hours. But actually, what's the time in West Indies? You have to subtract 4 from that. Subtract 4 from that, you get 15 hours. That's the time in West Indies. Question number 2. An aeroplane departs from Dawson located in the -8 time zone at 6 a.m. on Monday. Flies across the ideal international dateline, and arrives in Tokyo, Japan in the +9 time zone. If the flight arrives in Tokyo at 4 p.m., 4 p.m. you have to write in standard notation. So I'll write 4 p.m. now. On Tuesday, find the time taken for the journey. Okay, so now this is the time, the departing time. And this is Monday. So this time is 4. Now flight time, we'll say H or something. Now we'll do this way. What's the actual difference here? 0 is somewhere there, Greenwich time. So when you take the difference, that's 8 and 9 here, 17 hours different. Now here 6 is the departing time. So 6 plus 17, you get 23. So here minus 8 to here 17, when you add, that's 23. So 23 is the time here. Now 4 p.m. means this is, what's the value? 4 p.m. means 12 plus 4, 16 is the time. Now what's the difference between this and this? So 23 and 16, that's the duration of the flight. 7. So 7 hours duration is the flight time. So they are asking what's the time taken for the journey. So time is 7 hours. Take a look at this question. Singapore is located in the +8 time zone. An aeroplane departs from Singapore at 3 p.m. That's 15 standard value on Monday, and travels across the IDL to Honolulu, located in the -10 time zone. If it takes 12 hours for the journey, here to here, 12 hours. Find the local time and date when it arrives in Honolulu. So you have to find the time. So this is in between the Greenwich time. So this is 10 here, this is 8. Altogether 18 hours time difference. So we have to subtract 18 hours from here. Now they are asking what's the time and day. So 12 hours journey. So 3 p.m. means what's the standard time? 3 plus 12, 15 is the standard time. Then we need to add 12 to that, 12 hours journey. So when you add 12, what's the time? 27. You can't write, that's 24. Subtract from there. 3 hours is in Singapore. So that's 3 in the morning here in Singapore. This is in the morning. Now there's 18 hours gap between Honolulu and Singapore. So 3 means in the morning, at 24, 27 is the time. So subtract 18 from that. So 9 is the time in Honolulu. So what's the time? That's in the morning. So 9 in the morning. And what's the date? So date is here, this is 9 earlier 27 means 3 in the morning. So subtract another 18. So that means previous day. So what's the day? Monday before, and this becomes Sunday. Sunday morning. Sunday morning, 9 in the morning. So we covered all theory related to time. So what are the important things you need to remember? 0-degree longitude line which passes through Greenwich, England is called the Greenwich meridian. 0 time zone is a region of 15 degrees of longitude with 7.5 of longitude lying to the west of Greenwich meridian and plus 7.5 of longitude lying to its east. So 7.5, both sides, that's 15 degrees. Sri Lanka is located in plus 5.5. So you need to remember that. Therefore, the time in Sri Lanka is 5 hours and 30 minutes ahead with the Greenwich Mean Time. The time in the plus time zone is ahead of Greenwich Mean Time, and the time in the negative time zone is behind Greenwich Mean Time. The date changes by 1 day across the international date line. So remember everything, and you can convert any time with the standard time